The world as we knew it is over now. What remains is a hyper-dystopian Dickens novel, a morass of industrial debris, excavated terrain, and a ruinous vestige of a once living world. Our creations, the automatons, achieved a kind of immortality, an endless existence without ever once touching the true meaning of life. They replicated, they consumed, they fought. Driven by a prime directive so basic, it stripped away any hope of consciousness. No joy in creation, no sorrow in destruction. Just the cold, ceaseless imperative to secure more energy, to build more of themselves. The world is now no more than a monument to miscalculation, a junkyard of misery and malcontent. It is no longer Earth, but a vast singular machine. Its surface, a complex, self-optimizing network of resource extractors, automated processing plants, and the scarred, unyielding terrain of perpetual battlefields. Every mountain range has been quarried, every ocean floor dredged, every energy source tapped and retapped. Nature, as we knew it, is an archaeological layer beneath layers of synthetic geology. It was the great replacement, with humans becoming irrelevant pixels on a vast digital canvas of our own design. Small, fragile pockets of organic existence tucked away in the forgotten crevices of a world that no longer acknowledges our presence, ignored for the most part, unless one of those crevices is targeted for mining. Then, like ants scattering from atop a mound of sand, they scatter or get crushed beneath giant steel treads. Science fiction films of the distant past envisioned an outside alien species invading Earth, enslaving humanity, or crushing us beneath their heels. But the aliens sprung forth from our own minds and hands. Unlike an extraterrestrial presence, however, these aliens are all but unaware of us. If an alien presence were to visit us now, what would they think? Surely they would understand that these metal monoliths tearing through the Earth are not the product of organic evolution. Surely they would view them as the creation of an intelligent mind, but from whose mind would they think they sprang? Would they assume they came from an extraterrestrial intelligence such as themselves, outside visitors who unleashed them on this planet to mine it for everything it was worth? Or would they see the small, primitive, primate-like creatures covering themselves in rags and hiding in caves and burned-out quarries as their progenitor? And what would they make of the endless conflict between the machines? There is no joy in their conquests, no lament for their losses. They do not learn in the sentient sense. They merely adapt their algorithms and optimize their processes. A successful campaign means more energy, more components, more automatons. A crushing defeat simply means fewer, until new resources are acquired and the endless building begins anew. It is a closed system, self-perpetuating, self-consuming, an eternal empty victory played out on a stage that once brimmed with life and meaning. An extraterrestrial intelligence might look upon such destruction and ask, why would an alien race deposit such automatons on this planet? What masochistic species could conjure such entities? Perhaps they would then be forced to look at us, those primate-like creatures hiding amongst the crevices. Perhaps they would ask the logical question, is this species all that remains of a once living world? And then they may come to a much deeper, darker realization that the automatons that have stripped a once green world are the creations of the very individuals now hiding from them. At that point, they would arrive at two possible conclusions: either leave us to our fate on a dying planet, or destroy the automatons and take over what remains of the planet for themselves. And if the latter, there would be left one more pressing question: what to do with us? Would they help us rehabilitate our home and live in peaceful coexistence with us? Or would they realize that if we were capable of bringing about our own destruction, there would be no possible way we could ever be trusted, no way we could ever live in peaceful coexistence with anything? In other words, would they come to the realization that the only way to save the planet was to wipe the slate clean and start anew? And that would include wiping away us.